Alrighty. The Sharks have a wild one the night before American Thanksgiving. We'll break down this victory and more right now. This is Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday night, November 24th, 2021. Probably one of the more entertaining victories by the San Jose Sharks as they defeat the Ottawa Senators 6-3, and we welcome you to this edition of Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks postgame. If you want to be part of the show, chat with us and fellow hockey fans on the page or the app, and of course follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Reddit, Discord, and find everything at tealtownusa.com. Hi everyone, alongside Ian Reed, I am Eric Cura. Ian, how are you, bud?
I'm all right. A lot better than I thought it was going to be on the show after the way that game started, that's for sure.
One of those crazy ones, and it was one of those slowly, the first wave hits, like nothing big, but then, 2 hours later, we got crashing waves and crashing bodies all over the place. What can you say right off the get-go with this one?
I think it's a good win. I think you never want to shit on a win, but I think there's some things that are obviously pretty concerning coming out of it. From just an overall perspective, I thought, again, you don't want to shit on a win. The Sharks won. I thought they earned the win tonight. I'm not trying to say that, they didn't earn the win. They definitely earned it. They definitely deserved it. But there's definitely some things to be concerned about coming out of this one.
All right. We'll touch on all those in a little bit, but let's get at it. This was the second game for Ottawa since the team basically shut down due to the 10 players in COVID protocol. And they had a loss. They played hard fought in that loss against Colorado. They came in guns a-blazing and definitely have, I don't know, I think if they've been inspired by Brady Tkachuk's play, especially since he's taken over the C, but, 204 in, Austin Watson, which, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he the guy who fought Brendan Dillon, that infamous mic'd up fight a few years ago? But
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
Yeah, they dropped the gloves. Middleton, I guess you could say a technical knockout. He got a good shot in early, but
that right, he got in early. Oof.
It's funny, that smile from Middleton, and we'll give another reason why he had a smile later on. But you love to see that big old stash and the he'll smile on him. And he definitely had a big old smile at 7:16 when Matt Nieto, the Long Beach native, gets his first of the year, and that was a nice shot going far side.
Yeah. Couple of really nice shots that beat Matt Murray tonight, who hasn't played his best hockey in a long time. But, Nieto's a guy who's on Twitter, you see, he was starting to get a little bit of heat of why is this guy, regularly drawing into the lineup over some other players that, people like better. And I think that when you're starting to get questions like that, and it's good to step up and get a goal and, kind of show why you're in the lineup. Because I think there's a lot of people that seem to be a little bit annoyed at that that he constantly draws in, which, the bottom six hasn't been good, but I don't know. I'm not sure if there's any combination of bottom six players that I've really been super impressed with yet, to be completely honest. The bottom six has been pretty underwhelming this year.
Yeah, Weatherby came out guns a-blazing in his first game, but he's had his moments too. Mm-hmm. Kevin saying, I'll admit, that was a pretty good shot by Nieto.
Yeah, it was a great shot.
That was a great shot to make it 1-0 there. Brady Tkachuk would take a roughing penalty on Mario Ferraro that set up a Sharks power play. No luck there, but definitely some history there. Going back to the last game, there was definitely like a stick swinging and stick pulling, and that kind of eventually set the tone tonight for the night for Brady Tkachuk. He was all over the score sheet on this one, and he would get an assist on Josh Norris's eighth at 13:38 to make it tied up at 1-1. You know, Josh Norris comes back to haunt the the team that drafted him.
Yeah, Josh Norris. I think when you look at that play, defense kind of wandered. Like I think the one thing that the Sharks have really been guilty of a lot is the defense wanders a little too close to the line, and they're letting players get behind them, and then they're not reacting quick enough when the puck gets through them to the guy that no one seems to have a track on, right? Like Carlson needs to track Norris better in that situation. He also needs to react a little bit quicker. Like I didn't think like I'm not going to sit here and tell you this was like Erik Karlsson's worst game or anything, but on that play, not good.
Yeah, it wasn't his best defensively for sure.
Yeah, I think, and just you just got to be, they just got to be a little more aware, because they're letting, like I said, the defense seems to drift up towards the line in that situation more than they should, and they leave this gap behind them. And if they're not going to track the players sliding into those gaps, like, I mean, these things are going to keep happening.
Yeah, and you can't let that happen over again, because you're going to get caught. I get that you want to, move the play up and move up offensively, but you got to be careful. You can't leave a guy, right in front of your goaltender. So after 20 minutes, it was 1-1. And then, less than a minute in, Tomas Hertl with a nice shot. Nice little setup with Timo to make it 2-1. Hertl with the beauty of a shot that I don't think Murray saw.
No. No, I don't think so either. It was weird, right? Because it was like a good start, good finish, and then kind of just nothing in between really going for them. But it was a nice shot by Hertl for sure.
Yeah, and then the Sharks would get into some penalty trouble. Middleton would slash Stützle, and then of course another one of these unforced error penalties. Hella dudes on the frozen pond. That's for you, Shalina. This seems to be becoming a trend again with too many men or puck over glass. That's the last thing you need is taking some of those calls.
Yeah, I'd really like to see like how many too many men penalties are called across the league, and why do the Sharks have more of them than anyone else probably combined. I think that'd be an interesting study. I don't know what you do. Like, I mean, it's making a line change is hockey 101. I don't understand why the Sharks seem to have such a hard time with it. I don't get it. Like the number of too many men penalties that get called against this team, it's silly, and it's needless. Like you said, like it's unforced. It's not something that, there's no good time to take a too many men penalty.
Right.
Like it's just a dumb penalty that this team just seems to, I feel like they take one every game. And I don't know what they're doing wrong, but I wish they would sort it out, because it's dumb. And, the Sharks tonight, I thought they did okay on the penalty kill, but anytime they seemed to have momentum, they took a dumb penalty and the momentum swung the other way, and the Sharks were lucky. And I think that's what, when I said earlier about, things to be concerned about going forward, right? Like this Ottawa team isn't very good. They're just getting back on the ice after a decent layoff. So, if you can get momentum swings like this against them, what's going to happen when you play the Maple Leafs next?
Yeah.
Right? A team that has top tier offensive talent that's clicking right now.
Yeah. And they've turned it around in we'll get to what they did tonight in LA in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where, and I'm sensing this from you, where it's like, yeah, they got the victory, but you still are making some of these unforced errors that keep, coming back into your game, and it's going to bite you in the butt soon.
Yeah, like I think, like, again, you don't want to shit on a win, but are you going to get away with the game? Like, are you going to get away with games like this against better teams? No. Like, you're just not going to come out on the right side of this if you have games like this against like a team like Toronto coming up, or a Vegas, or teams of the upper echelon of the league. Like, yeah, the Senators, they're still the lowly Senators. So you can play a game like this and you can come out with the win. And again, I thought that by the time they ended the game, I thought they played better towards the end, and I thought they earned the win. But I don't know if you pull this against a team that's significantly better if the game is still in reach by the time you turn on the engine in the third period, after letting it kind of just idle for two.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong at all, my friend. You got to be better. And you played. I mean, you played fall. I mean, let's be honest. Played practically terrific hockey against one of the best teams in the East in Carolina. Played fairly well against Toronto last month, beginning of the season. You got to be careful with what.
Yeah, with that Toronto team that they faced at the beginning of the season was
down and out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they were on quite the skid. They're nowhere near the team. Like, now they're clicking on all cylinders. So I don't know if you can get away with a game like this against them.
Yeah. But moving onward, things would start getting a little dicey later in the game. I mean, you get some questionable calls where, I wasn't a fan of that, Formenton slash. I mean, yes, he just swung his stick around, set up a Sharks power play, which gets negated by Noah Gregor. Noah literally afterwards went, oh, God, why did I do that?
Yeah, a lot of that tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of, oh, great power play, and then immediately negating their own power play tonight.
Right. And that eventually led to Ottawa striking twice within, a couple of minutes. They get Brady Tkachuk, from Shabbat and Zub to make it, 2-2 at 14:38, and then not even a little more than a minute and a half later, Connor Brown makes, Reimer is still looking for the puck, and before Reimer sees it, it's in the back of the net, and Ottawa seizes all that momentum, and they're throwing their body around.
Yeah, that third goal I didn't like. I think if you're James Reimer, that's probably the only goal that happened tonight that you probably want back.
Right.
And that was just, failure to that was, partially on him because he didn't track the puck as well as you'd want him to, and he's looking one way, the puck's going another, and it goes in the back of the net. Like, it wasn't a good goal, but I thought other than that, like, I thought James Reimer was good tonight. I feel like every time James Reimer's in net, he gives them a chance to win, and that's all you can really ask for from your goaltender. Yeah, again, I didn't like that third goal, but other than that, I thought James Reimer had a good game.
Yeah, I mean, and the Sharks are giving him, we talk about baseball having run support as a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
The Sharks are definitely giving him goal support as netminder, because I think they've been playing very well with him, and that you don't need to outscore your opponents like crazy like other goaltenders that used to be here.
Yeah, and again, it's the thing that I like the most about James Reimer, even over Aiden Hilt to this point, is just how calm he is in the net, right? Like, and I said this before, like with James Reimer, there's no wasted movement. He's not very, you're not going to confuse James Reimer with like a more acrobatic goaltender, because he's not that. He's just, he's very, very reserved in his movements, square to the shooter. and he usually does really well. I mean, again, he lost track of the puck on that play where Connor Brown scores, and that's gonna happen. Like, you don't
Right.
like it, but it's hockey. This stuff happens. But yeah, no, I think the way he's such a calming force back there, because I think when the goalie plays the way he does, it's a lot easier to keep calm as a defenseman. Whereas if you have a goalie who's a lot more active and maybe moves more than he probably needs to, but still makes the save, like, you probably gonna stress out your defenseman more, because you're like, oh crap, like, we're letting in these grade A opportunities, whereas James Reimer makes everything look easy.
Right. And you want to have that in the sense that, it doesn't have to be like making basket catches, Willie Mays style, if you've ever seen the movie Major League, but kind of, have that confidence that, okay, he's got our back. We're not going to go overboard.
Can I ask something quick? Just because I saw Bozosaurus mentioning Chris Tierney in the chat.
Yes.
What was the Couture Tierney comparison on the broadcast? Because I didn't have the, like, what was that?
I
like,
don't know.
Yes, our first line center is better than your third. Like, okay, like, we know. Like, what was that?
Yeah, it's one of those, like, it literally your head scratching, like, okay, who came up with that?
Yeah, like, what
it's like,
what's the talking point there? Like, look, I like Chris Tierney, but, like, why are we comparing him to Logan Couture like he's he was this miscast first line center that we just had on our third line? Like, I don't understand.
I think that's probably what it was, is that Tierney's, one of their top six, and he's one of their top centers.
Yeah,
and I mean, to use a comparison from 2014 to 18 is a little bit of a stretch, but they're trying to give out information, and I was like, okay, that's a bad comparison. I'm assuming 1C versus 1C.
What's next? This is Connor McDavid, and this is Jasper Weatherby, and as you can see, Connor McDavid is a significantly better player. Like, yeah, we know. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. All right. I don't know. I just had to ask, because I thought, like, what is this comparison?
I was looking, it's like, really, we're comparing that? Yikes! I hate for when that screen capture happens, it gets on Twitter.
Like, this is Erik Karlsson, and this is Thomas Chabot, or this is Brent Burns, and this is Thomas Chabot.
Right.
Like, this is Logan Couture, and this is Chris Tierney.
Yeah,
okay. I don't know. It's just
awkward.
It was one of the weirdest comparisons that, like, and the fact that they could, they talked a good couple, minute and a half about it. I'm like, well, I mean, kudos to you, because I don't know if I could do that with a straight face.
I think there's a lot of Bozo sort of saying, doesn't Tierney kind of resembles McDavid? Well, not in that form, I guess, but and Felix saying perhaps informing the uninformed. Yeah,
I guess I
don't know.
It was such a weird comparison to make.
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
But no, you're bringing a good point, because it's one of those ones. Is like, okay, when we dig deep for some of these stats, all right, I gotcha. And Uncle Darren Stevens, at Shark Stats on Twitter, I mean, there are some stats that he finds out that it's just like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was such a weird, like, just like, what are we even doing here? But I mean, if you got to fill time, you got to fill time.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So Ottawa's
segment, I don't know.
Yeah. So Sens with the 3-2 lead. The Sharks get a power play late in the period, thanks to another Sens penalty, which I believe was it on Brady Tkachuk? Yes, I think he took 4 penalties in this game. This one was a high sticking one on Matt Nieto. Nieto looked pissed. He's like, "What the you doing, man?"
Yeah, well, Brady Tkachuk, I mean, he's a guy that's he's the guy, like, because not only is he a super pest, but he's also, like, super good.
Right.
So he's a guy, he's one of those guys where he's gonna drive you crazy, but he's gonna drive you crazy because he's always on the ice. He's not like he's not a Ryan Reeves who's, going to play 8 minutes a night, but he will drive you crazy. Like, this guy's going to play 15 minutes a night and he's going to drive you crazy the whole time he's on. Like, and if you start chasing him around, he's going to put the puck in the net.
And it's infectious.
And yeah, I mean, I thought, the one thing I'll say about the Senators team is they are scrappy, super scrappy. Like, I don't think things are going as well as they would want them to in Ottawa this year, obviously. After they said, rebuild's over, mission accomplished, we're going to go now. But I mean, I think that and I'm obviously not a Senators fan, but like, I think if I was a Senators fan, like, at least I'd probably appreciate the scrappiness of this team. Obviously, you need them to start winning games and start winning significant games, but I can't, like, compared to how just dreadfully awful this team was for so long. Like, there's a lot there to like, and when the pieces start finally clicking, I think Sen fans are going to be in for a treat once everything kind of starts clicking. And I admire the scrappiness of them.
Absolutely. I think that, to me, definitely had some playoff intensity in them, and definitely playing playoff style hockey, throwing the weight around, making you feel the pain and everything. And like AJ saying in the chat, the Sens are about a season away from being scary.
I don't know. It's hard because that division is still, they've got teams that they have to beat in that division, right? That's the problem. I mean, there's that division. It's the haves and haves not, but man, the haves have. Like, you have Tampa, you have Florida, you have Toronto, and then and then you still have Boston probably in that picture too, right? Like I think they're going to be good, but like, are they going to start dominating all those teams? I don't know. They got a ways to go.
Yeah. I mean, Laurel's saying scary or scary.
I mean, they're going to be better. I just think that they're going to have to, being a little bit better isn't going to be good enough, right? Like, they're going to have to be able to hang with the Tampas and Floridas and Torontos and that'll be it. But and the Bostons.
Yeah, but like, they're on their way.
They're on their way for sure
to steal one of Jerk's things. We're not there yet, the Ottawa Senators would say, but they've
got good players. I mean, the only thing is that would they probably want to do over on that Matt Murray deal though.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. So the Sharks get a power play, and Nick Bonino finally gets off the schneid with a nice one-timer setup, to get this game tied up at 3-3 before they go into the locker room for intermission from Meier and Couture. That has to be such a weight off of him.
You could tell, you could see it. I mean, he looked like he escaped from Shawshank.
And one of the comments coming already out of the locker room, nice to score in your 700th game. Bonino smiling, would have been nice if it been my 685th. Bugner was saying, it was like a cup winner about the bench reaction to Bonino's goal. And it's nice to see that all these guys are making, giving each other kudos. That was one of the happiest goal piles I've been in. I felt like you could finally exhale in that one. And so you kind of see where this team is at, where we're working together, and Bugner says after the game, that's a good room in there. They're family. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that you can tell, like, there's definitely a cohesion on this team this year. I think, and it's a testament to that, because again, like, this team, like, Ottawa's a scrappy team, and Ottawa hit them every chance they got, but they stuck together. It wasn't like, a couple of guys were trying to answer the bell for the rest of the team. Whereas that's what we would have saw last year. We saw Ottawa laying hits on everybody, and then a couple of guys trying to
rectify it while the rest stood there hoping that they didn't get hit next.
My question to you is this: is the memo out on the Sharks saying hit these guys a bit, because they've taken a lot of hits since the Calgary game, i.e., just ask Alexander Barabanov, but overall these guys are absorbing some hits here. They'll give them back, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's, well,
I think when you have as many inexperienced guys in the lineup as the Sharks do, you do want to hit them. You want to pressure them. You want to pressure them to making mistakes. I think I think that's probably the game plan going in, because you have a lot of guys that don't have a lot of NHL experience in this lineup. So yeah, of course I want to hit them. I want to fluster them. I want them to make mistakes so that they, turn over the puck and we can go the other way. Like, yeah, I think that's definitely a part of the game plan against the Sharks, is you want to pressure some of these players that don't have, the experience of a Cogliano, of a Bonino, of a Couture, and you want to see if they'll bend or break.
Absolutely. And they didn't break, because in the third period, while Brady Tkachuk would take another slashing penalty, while Austin Watson boarded Marc-Edouard Vlasic. I mean, Timo Meier got cross-checked in the mouth. That didn't go any further, but they didn't do anything on those. But 11-18, Timo Meier gets open, gives the Sharks a lead, 4-3. That'll turn out to be the game-winning goal. Balcers and Vlasic get the assist on that one. I think just finding the open slot from that one.
I mean, Timo Meier has been fantastic this year. And I think, a player who a lot of people were really down on last year. And I was definitely, I was cautiously down on him. I didn't think we should put him in a box and send him out of town as quickly as humanly possible. But, he definitely didn't play his best hockey last year. And he's been really, really good this year, which is what you want. I mean, he's a guy who is a young piece that's going to be here for the long haul, probably.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's not, the way this team's built, like, they're never going to strip it down to the bolts and rebuild.
They say they can't afford to.
Well, I mean, they can't afford to, they say, but I mean, what do they think it's going to do? Like, we both saw the arena tonight. Do you really think if they said rebuild out loud that number would drop any more than it already has?
Mm-hmm.
I don't, because hockey fans aren't stupid. Just because you don't say it out loud doesn't mean they're gonna be like, oh man, we're a cup team. Like, fans know the score. Like, they're not stupid. And I think that's the most frustrating thing about this management group, is they treat the fans like they're stupid. Like, oh, we don't say rebuild out loud. We can't say rebuild. People will stop coming. Like, people have stopped coming.
Yeah. And like AJ's saying, great comeback win. It's a shame it's the second worst attended in SAP Center history that was there to witness. It's not only the second worst attended game at SAP Center, it's the second worst attended game in Sharks history for a home game.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks, man. It sucks because it's hard. Sometimes it's hard watching these games, man, because it's like that arena used to just rock.
Oh yeah.
And now it's just so dead. And then when things are going badly, it's worse, right? Like, even when things are going good, it's not the atmosphere that anyone's used to watching on TV.
No. It's I saw some people on Twitter saying, did the volume at the arena get loud, or is it just because of the lack of people in it? And honestly, I think it's the lack of people in it, because
oh yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, when you have 7,500 less fans in the building, it's going to make a difference.
It's going to make it quiet, yeah.
And let alone the maybe couple hundred that they have right now for the Barracuda. It's tough. But this team is competitive. They need to have that competitive edge to keep going.
I don't know if Are they though? Like, is this team competitive? How are they a
Competitive,
playoff team?
competitive to compete for a playoff spot. They're not a cup contender.
I'm not even sold they're a playoff team though. Like, I think, don't get me wrong. Like, I've admired their tenacity this year in comparison to previous years. But in the grand scheme, is that going to be enough? I'm not sold.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Like, you look at, I've said a lot of times this year, right? Like, there hasn't been a show yet where I've come on here and just ripped into this team. But not yet. It'll happen.
I mean, let's be honest here. Well, they're due for a dud like they were. I mean, like a dud worse than the Colorado game. I mean, the Colorado game I think was just bad.
Sure.
But I think they
that was
had
bad.
an excuse.
But that's what I mean. Like, so it's like I like the way they're playing this year, but even if I like the way they're playing, right? Like, I think they're playing to the best of their ability. But is this team good enough? I don't know. Like, I admire the way they play, and I admire the fact that they don't give up. And they, there's only been a couple of games where I think you could come away with just absolute stink face about it. But I don't know if they're still good enough to hang. And that's, and that is what it is. But I think when, if you're in the Bay Area and you're looking to spend your sports dollars, where are you going to spend it, right? You're going to spend it on the maybe playoff team, or are you going to go watch the 13-2 Warriors? People like winners.
Yawn. The Warriors win again. Yay. Whoopie-doo.
Well, I'm just saying, like, people like winners, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a crap about basketball. I don't give a crap about any other sport, to be completely honest. But I'm not an idiot at the same time. Like, people like watching winners.
Yeah. Grand Desir 12 is saying, question, is there a stock up, stock down on any of the players' positions or coaching in this game? Was there anybody that really caught your mind?
Whose stock is up and whose stock is down? That's a good question. I mean, Timo Meier's stock's got to be through the roof right now, right?
Well, goal and 2 assists on the night.
Like, great, like through the roof. Whose stock is falling? That's a good question.
I mean, is there any pressure? I mean, I know there's probably some pressure on LeBanc. Bonino got some pressure off with scoring tonight.
Yeah.
We'll throw in Couture
Kevin
with an empty
LeBanc's
netter.
a guy that I wonder if I just wonder if Kevin LeBanc at this point, and I know this is going to piss some people off and it'll make others cheer. I just wonder. There is a big part of me that thinks Kevin LeBanc just needs a change of scenery. I just don't think it's going to work in San Jose. Like, and it's not even that I dislike Kevin LeBanc. I just don't think that he's put in a position to succeed enough. Like, he's been on the third line all year. Like, for the most part, he's been on the third line.
Yeah.
So I just think, like, Kevin LeBanc's a guy who I just wonder if he would just do good with a change of scenery at this point. And I'm not I'm pretty neutral on Kevin LeBanc. Like, he's not my least favorite player, but he's not my favorite player either. But I just feel like with what they're paying him, and that might be a tough thing to move, but yeah, I don't know. I just wonder if it's time for a change of scenery for Kevin LeBanc.
There's LeBanc, and looking in the chat right now, Aiden Hill from Skyler, every Aiden Hill stock down every time Reimer looks good.
Gotta be low. I mean, again, Aiden Hill again, like not enough games. Like, I'm not completely. I was never fully on the Aiden Hill bandwagon, but I'm not completely off it either. He's another guy who I think, I need to see more.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, James Reimer has definitely been the better goalie thus far. But, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's fair. Like, Aiden Hill's obviously, a lot of traumatized Sharks fans he's starting to get the Martin Jones treatment a little bit, but like,
just
I don't know
with
him yet.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you've been so traumatized by what's happened with Martin Jones and we'll get to Martin Jones in a little bit. Don't you worry, folks. That you see those hints of Aiden Hill, and it's like, oh boy. You hope that it's not coming to that.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not there yet. Look at it took Martin Jones a long time to become Martin Jones. Like maybe look at this was a gamble, right? Like Aiden Hill came in without a huge body of work. The body of work he had was only okay.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm not done with Aiden Hill yet. I want to see.
It's still early.
Talk to me after the season. I'll tell you where I'm on Aiden Hill.
Yeah. Kevin Lacey saying Matt Nieto. That's why you trade him tomorrow while it's still up.
I mean,
that's what she said.
That's a fair one. Yeah, that's fair.
But
yeah, I think the stock, like, yeah, for me, I think it's Kevin LeBanc.
Yeah. Dana's with you on trading LeBanc. With that one, I feel like he's just a guy who's just not going to succeed here at this point. Yeah.
Like he just needs to change. Like sometimes a change of scenery does a world of good. And then he will, he'll go somewhere else and completely light the world on fire. And, and then we'll curse Doug Wilson some more, I guess.
Of course, Laurel saying if you get rid of LeBanc, who will serve the too much man penalties?
Well, I mean, we saw tonight.
Barabanov.
Barabanov's the new like, look at. That's how low Kevin LeBanc's stock is now. Kevin LeBanc's stock is so low that he can't even get sent to the penalty box for a too many men on the ice penalty. That's how bad it's become. That's how bad he's in the doghouse with Bob Boughner.
Yeah, and Kevin's saying maybe Weatherby is down. Boughner isn't playing as much, and he's not playing with enough urgency. And
yeah, he yeah, I mean, a rookie mistake tonight, like. When you have a wide open puck like that, just poke at this. I don't care how your stick is facing. Poke it into the net. Like, don't try and dust it off there. Rookie mistake, and that's fine.
I think this was AJ saying it. Stock down. Burns hasn't scored a point since everyone got back from COVID protocol.
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit. Yeah, I give that. Oh, and sorry, Sonatonic, I said too many men. It's the hella dudes penalty.
Hella dudes penalty, yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. And SJ or Timmy, this team could end up being like the Vancouver Canucks. Never accepting a rebuild and then having nothing to show for it. Yeah. Look at. I don't. This is supposed to be a positive show. We won, but this is a concern that I've had, right, with this team, right, that they're just going to hold on for too long and then instead of doing whatever. But I don't know. I'm gonna scroll up the chat here. So there's something else that was said that had to do something here. Scrolling up. Oh, and Dana, saying she doesn't mind if the like I'm with you. Like, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, like, I'm not going to be upset because I didn't, you make the playoffs and get blown out in 7 games. Like, no, that's not fun either. Right. I mean, I think my expectations for this team aren't very high right now. Right. So as long as they give me an entertaining game to watch, like, I'm going to be, for the most part, happy. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think that this is a big, this is a Stanley Cup juggernaut team. Like, this team's going to be lucky to make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, they're going to be lucky to get out of the first round. You're right. It's all, anything they do, they actually accomplish this season. It's going to be gravy. But I like it when my team wins. So I'll be happy.
I think more than anything, I think it's progress.
Yeah.
From the last 2 seasons, for sure. So. Let's also give, Couture had an empty netter. He had a goal and assist. Jacob Middleton with his first NHL goal. I mean, a great shot from about 180 feet away to just nail that empty netter, though. That's not easy to get. So huge ups to Jake Middleton.
Jake Middleton. Jake Middleton's a guy. I mean, like, again, I have all the respect in the world for Jacob Middleton because this is a guy who has persevered off hard work, and I've said this a lot, right? Like, this is a guy who has been passed on the depth chart multiple times. He was the guy that me and Kevin Lacey, of course, had pegged to be, next man up, next man up, next man up. And then he got passed on the depth chart and passed on the depth chart and passed on the depth chart. But he didn't give up, right? Like a lot of guys getting passed that many times on the depth chart, they pack it in, maybe they coast. Like this is a guy who probably was on his last deal with the Sharks if he couldn't do anything this year.
Yeah. And yeah.
All the credit in the world for Jake Middleton, man. Like he's a hardworking guy. I couldn't be happier for him. They don't ask how they ask how many.
Yeah.
So no, Jake Middleton, I mean, kudos to him. I think he's done really well playing with Erik Karlsson. Has he had some bullshit plays for sure? Yeah. Like is he, he's a guy who I think I admire his hard work. I feel like I get nervous though, because like the Sharks tend to overpay guys that play well with one of their marquee guys, like their marquee defenseman. And that makes me a little bit nervous because I still think Jacob Middleton's a guy, right? Do we want a new Radim Šimik? No. But, will I take a Jacob Middleton at, somewhere around where he's currently playing? Yeah, of course.
Yep. Kevin correcting me. It's Jake Middleton. I'm sorry. My apologies for, I guess, in a way, mispronouncing Mr. Middleton's first name there. So, and Kevin, I was thinking that same thing right on the dot there for that game against Nashville. Middleton scored from almost the same spot as Jay Leach's one and only NHL goal into an empty net. Jay Leach, former Shark, now an assistant coach with the Seattle Kraken. Not gonna lie, there's a funny story to Jay Leach involving me and one of my buddies that follow me on Twitter, and you can we'll talk about that for sure. So Sharks win 6-3.
Yep.
A solid win, like you said at the beginning of the program. Yeah, it's a win, but they have some things they got to work on.
There's definitely some things that they got away with here against an Ottawa team that they will not get away with against other teams and other better teams. They won't get away with games like this isn't a game where I think they should go into the locker room and pat themselves too hard on the back for. You obviously you're happy to get the win, but I think they, if they look themselves in the mirror, they know there's definitely work to be done.
Yeah, they can't play the same style against Toronto on Friday night. Plain and simple.
Yep.
So with that, we'll move on to some of the quotes remaining here. Timo was saying Bonino was more exciting for me than when I scored. The guys are all excited. Same with Nieto and Middleton. Reimer gives us a lot of confidence. It's great playing in front of him. If you're Aiden Hill, you're saying ouch, aren't you?
Probably a little. I mean, but it's not. There's nothing not factual with that comment.
Nope.
Right? Like Reimer's been the better goalie between the two, and it's not close.
Yeah. Not close at all, unfortunately. Let's see here. What was it? We lost up a lot of battles in the first period. We had a great response and a great third period. It's a great room right now, upbeat and a lot of energy. As an old guy, I'm trying to fit in.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that changes in 5 days.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the key thing after the Chicago game on Sunday. So, to kind of probably quote what AJ's saying, yeah, the Sharks won, but when do we ask Ian about Martin Jones?
For fuck's sakes.
Oh boy, here we go, bud. All right, let's get to the wraparound and recap some of these scores.
Painful.
Like Mike Babcock said, there will be pain. There's going to be a lot of pain.
There's going to be a lot of pain.
We should have this sponsored by, Manscaped pretty soon. Bruins over the Sabres 5-1, but we're not the Steve Dangle podcast. Oh, I said Steve Dangles, which means I got to play the why not sound effect there. Sabres lose 5-1 to Boston. Panthers win in overtime 2-1 over the Flyers. Aaron Ekblad with the game-winning goal. Martin Jones. Ian, would you care to say how many saves he had tonight?
A bunch. He did really good tonight. He had a good bounce back game after some pretty rough. He had a couple of really rough outings, and I started to get a little cocky. And now he, for those that don't know, back on a little show called Teal Tinted Glasses that we do in the summer, I was getting the gears because I always get the gears about Martin Jones. Because if you ever wanted me to rant on this show, all you had to do is bring up Martin Jones, and it was always good for a rant.
Right.
So always people give me gears about Martin Jones, about how he's going to go to the Flyers, he's going to be great. And I'm like, no. One, he's Martin Jones. Two, the Flyers are a goalie effing graveyard.
They are.
Like, the two of these things should not work. So far, it's worked okay. So what happened is I said, if Martin Jones plays 20 games or more and finishes the season with a .915 save percentage, because .915, for those that have not been here forever, is generally about league average. And I said for a long time that if the Sharks just got league average goaltending, they'd probably be okay, which Martin Jones never gave them. So I said, if those two things happen, plays over 20 games or more rather, finishes with a save percentage above .915, I would shave my head and I would put it on YouTube for everyone to see after all the grief that I've given Martin Jones. In hindsight, this was really dumb because if he doesn't do it, all I get to do is keep my hair, and I feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick here.
Right.
So not looking so good for me now, because I believe that brings Martin Jones up to 6 games so far this season,
yes.
And current save percentage is well over .915. So
yes. He's currently 3-2-1 with a 2.67 goals against. Who cares about the goals against? But his save percentage is currently at a .927.
Yeah. So I might be shaving my head in the fall, or in the spring rather.
Yeah. So
could happen.
It could happen, folks.
Oh, it's on Twitter. Like,
yeah, it's literally,
internet never forgets.
It's literally our pinned tweet.
Of course,
it's literally our pinned tweet. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's Martin Jones is just the bane of my existence. What can I say?
Well,
he was when he was here, and now he's gone.
We'll keep it that. We'll keep
living rent free in my head.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Moving on, Devils the Devils lose to the Wild 3-2 in a shootout, and damn right they should after unveiling those ugly uniforms. Never have a goaltender design a uniform ever again, please.
Yeah. Felix asking, what does my wife think about this? My wife will be less than thrilled if I shave my head.
Yes.
It's not gonna go over well in the Ian household. It's not gonna go well. It's gonna be very bad. Thankfully, my hair grows back really quick.
Speaking of bad, let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks as they lost 4-1 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, Demko's playing pretty well, all things considered, but JT Miller postgame wasn't exactly
Can you throw that on the show?
I can't, unfortunately. I can grab my phone and play the audio if you want to
play the audio. Yeah.
Do some more scores while I grab that, if you're able to. Or not.
Oh, what am I supposed to be talking?
Just go over some other scores while I pull this up.
The best. I got to talk about Vancouver for a minute. I mean, Vancouver was a team that I was not high on coming into the year because of the sheer amount of overhaul on that team. Like they changed so many players, and yet I'm like, I don't know if this makes them better. I think, I don't know. I don't know how Jim Benning still has a job at this point. Like, because I know they're
puppet to
calling for blood in Vancouver, but man, what a mess.
Oh yeah. Here's JT Miller after the game, and this kind of went viral.
I think when we get everybody to buy in, we're a really hard team to play against. Is everyone buying in right now? I don't.
I mean, yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, is everyone buying in right now? I don't know.
The facial expression, like,
yeah,
it's just like, man, like it's bad in Vancouver right now. And I feel bad for Thatcher Demko for sure. But like, I don't know. That team is.
I mean, that
Team
face.
is a mess.
Yikes. Yeah. That pretty much says it all. I mean, my gosh. Yeah. And you feel bad because what do you do? I mean, it's almost like I could totally see Jim Benning being like, okay, Sharks, I'll trade you Evander Kane and Kevin LeBanc, and I'll send you Quinn Hughes and a first-round pick.
Well, that's the problem for them too, right? Is like, if they want to make any moves, like, GMs are just going to be jerks to them and just be like, yeah, well, Elias Pettersson's having a really rough go, we'll take him for pennies on the dollar.
Right.
Right. Like, they're not coming to take your problems. They're going to come try and take your good players that you probably want when you come out the other side of this thing.
Right. Moving onward, Cole Caulfield got off the schneid for Montreal, but it wasn't enough as the Capitals doubled up on the Canadiens 6-3.
Is Ovechkin still scoring?
Is Ovechkin still scoring? Yes. Apparently, he's better than Gretzky now, even though he hasn't surpassed him yet. If you look at what's trending on Twitter right now, the Blue Jackets shut out the Jets 3-0. Connor Hellebuck kind of hella sucked in that one, so we'll see what's going on there. The Blues lose to the Red Wings 4-2 in this one. Raymond gets his 8th goal of the season. Dylan Larkin his 10th, as the Red Wings continue to kind of be like the Sharks, kind of like staying at like in that 500 limbo. It's like, kind of good,
respectable. I mean, considering what this team was last year, like, they're a scrappy team,
right?
There's a lot to respect there. I think
the Golden Knights win 5-2 over the Nashville Predators. Mark Stone, after his injury issues, gets off the schneid himself with his first goal of the season. Alex Pietrangelo with a shorty in this one. The Ducks lose 5-2 over the Avalanche as Cale Makar gets his 8th. Thank you very much. I needed that for fantasy points. But the big one, Maple Leaf 6, LA 2.
Well, that's what happened. When you wear stupid helmets, you get stupid scores.
Well, what the hell? Well, then what the hell's going on with Vegas then and their gold chrome helmets?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what is with this? I don't like it. It makes me mad. And it shouldn't make me mad. It's just a helmet, but it makes me mad. I don't know why. I don't want this to become like a trend across the league where everyone has like a chromatic helmet. Are the Sharks going to like a teal chromey helmet? I guess not, because they've never really worn teal helmets. But
hey, I think maybe it's time for a teal chrome helmet, and they're going to up it one more thing. They're going to put a fin on top of it.
Might as well.
I mean, come on. Since we're into the fashion part of the program, let's take a look at these beauties, huh? The USA hockey jerseys, or they look like more soccer jerseys, were unveiled today. I
miss the old sure. I miss for like Team USA. I don't know. They always look like. I mean, I like some of them, like, because they kind of like some of the more recent ones have had more of like a college hockey look, and I appreciate that.
Right.
But I like the one with like the flag flowing off the USA. I don't know. I just always like that.
Yeah, and that's the tough part, is that the they can't use that logo because that's their primary logo, and I guess Olympic rules say you can't use your federation logo as your logo, so that's why you have this. But I also want your thoughts on Team Canada, because one of them really looks pretty close to a stealth jersey.
Yeah, Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of these either. Like, I don't know. I what the hell is that? Like, I don't like it. I just I don't like either of them, to be completely honest. I don't like the shoulders with like the color
There's
with the
like that
number.
little lip right
Yeah,
there. It's like,
I don't like
why?
it. I don't like the maple leaf either. Is that even a maple leaf?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Well,
You know,
could have fooled me. Yeah, I don't dig them. Whatever. I mean, it's I miss the, like I said, you said, it's probably a stupid Olympic rule, and I get that. But like, I don't know. Where's my? Do I have it
yeah,
in here? Yeah. I like the other logo, man. Like, I don't know.
yeah. And
Maybe
people
we
are,
can Canada logo somewhere.
the like Dana Meyerson saying, show the Canadian turkey butt jersey now.
Yeah, like, what is that?
So,
Awful.
all right.
Awful.
And one more thing before we go,
Hmm.
Rick Bowness. Have you heard about this story about Rick Bowness and Riley Tuft?
No,
Oh,
enlighten me.
okay. Let me fill you in on this one. So, Riley Tuft was a call up in Minnesota, where he's from, and Bonus was basically saying, "Yeah, you're in the lineup, ready to go. He's going to be playing tonight." He gets a bunch of tickets. He basically uses all of his call up money to buy
Mm,
tickets for him. I think he even had wild forward Nick Bukestad help him out with these tickets. And then Rick Bowness has a change of heart, scratches him.
yeah, it's shitty. Like,
I mean, your thoughts on that?
shitty. I mean, what is there to say? It's incredibly shitty. Like, what, I don't know what Rick Bonus is doing. Like, what did he do? Like, that's what that's my question, is what did he do to deserve that kind of embarrassment, right? Like,
Right.
that's embarrassing.
Yeah. And that's not a good look. And with
No,
Dallas,
it's not a good look. And I mean, I get, like, sometimes things come up or whatever, but like, without any, and I understand, what happens in the room stays in the room, but like, I don't know. I feel like, I hope that whatever it was, like, he got some sort of explanation as to why, other than, yeah, change of heart. You
right.
know, that's it's crap, especially when you spend all, like, look at guys that play in the A, they don't make a whole ton of money,
No.
right? So when you come up and you actually get to make, like, some of the, like, most AHL contracts are like 10% of what you would make in the NHL. So when you look at it like an entry level contract that's like 750, you're making like 75 grand. Now, 75 grand is still a decent chunk of money. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when you come up, and you're flying people in to see your first game or whatever, family, people are making, arrangements. It just seems like such a shitty thing to do to somebody.
Right. I mean, like Skylar's saying, Tufty, if that's
Mhm.
how I'm supposed to say it, Kevin, thank you very much. Found out 1 hour before the game because someone came off injured reserve for Dallas. Bonus claimed he
Sucks.
found out late some players were returning, and that's why.
I would have found a way to make it work.
Oh, by the way, they lost to Minnesota 7-2 that game.
As well they should.
Yeah, they have won 2 in a row
Karma.
since then, but yeah, that's karma there. It's not like they're swapping fourth liners or anything. John, I didn't mention your super chat earlier, so $5 there, $5 here. Happy Turkey Day to Laurel, AJ, Jerk, Ian, Puck Guy, Felix, Eric, and the rest of the Sharks family. Gobble gobble. Of course,
Yeah,
you
man.
had
Happy Thursday.
yeah. Damn it, you beat me. I was gonna say my joke. Yes. So for all of us Americans, it's Thanksgiving, but for Ian, it's just
It's
Thursday.
Happy Thursday. No,
So
take it. No, enjoy your Thanksgiving, guys.
no, and I hope you had a nice one a month ago and everything.
We did.
But
Nice.
appreciate everything. I mean, that goes with everybody here. We're very fortunate to do what we do, have the support of everybody around us, and support of the Sharks too, in some form. So appreciate each and every one of you, especially the 2,520 subscribers. We're on our way to 100,000 subscribers. So you need to tell all your friends, even if they don't like hockey, they need to watch us. Hit that notification bell to let them know to watch us, on the show. So we appreciate each and every one of you here. So John, thank you a bunch. We will draw the winners very soon. AJ's got to get all the names and everybody on there. We donated a total of $300 to Hockey Fights Cancer. So
awesome.
We really great to have there. Granzier, next game is Black Friday. Yes, next game is
Black Friday. They wear the stealth jerseys on Black Friday?
They wear the stealth jerseys on Black Friday. Here, I'll even give you a peek of what we do on Black Friday. Here we go. Ready? Oh, there we go. So, yeah. So there you go. Little stealth mode. So, Ian, your final thoughts, where the people can find you, and what you're thankful for.
I am thankful that the Sharks won, and my internet decided to finally work after the people came in and fixed the line. Because I had concerns. You can find me at Ian Blogs Hockey on Twitter. It's pretty much the only place I am these days, and even then, like, Twitter's annoying me lately because I feel like every time I refresh my feed, the same shit ends up on the top. It's really annoying me. I don't know if anyone else is having this issue, but that is my Twitter rant of the day. Thankful for a Sharks win. Thankful for all of you who continue to come here and spend your time with us after the games. And cannot be. I mean, what's better than that? Not a whole lot. Again, big game coming up against Toronto on Friday. They're going to have a much better game than this one, though.
Yes, and look forward to a big game against Toronto. Very thankful for each and every one of you joining us. We really appreciate it. Much love to family, friends, the girlfriend who puts up with me doing shows late at night when she wants me to say goodnight to her. And I mean, I'm sure she's asleep by now, but grateful for everybody around here. I know I used to do tweet ups and everything, and really, literally mean Teal together, indeed. So our next game, is against the Toronto Maple Leafs, which means one thing and one thing only. Where is my video for that? Here it is. Steve, what do you think about our show?
Teal Town After Dark. That sounds like hockey, but in underwear.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Steve. So we'll be back with you following Sharks and Leafs. Landy and Al will be with you on that one. I will see you at the tank, so say hi and everything. So until Friday night, have a great holiday, have a great Thanksgiving, and until then, keep it real, keep it Teal, keep it real Teal. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you on Friday.